Once more, good morning and thanks for joining us. COP22 ends today in Marrakech, Morocco, while waiting for the declaration, for the final declaration. A series of initiatives to combat climate change have been made public. A fund for the Congo Basin, known as the Brazil Foundation for Peace and Environmental Preservation, an initiative of President Denis Sassou Nguesso, has been launched. The initiative is supported by 10 African countries. According to promoters of the initiative, the fund is aimed at financing environmental projects aimed at developing the economy of this forest region in the long term, amounting to about 3 billion euros.
Among other missions of this program include to offer other alternatives to deforestation, to strengthen irrigation of farmland in the savannah, and to support ecotourism. Just to recall, the Congo Basin is the second largest carbon reservoir in the world after the Amazon, containing about 10% of the world's biodiversity. The conservation of the forests in this area, which is about 160 million hectares, therefore represents a critical issue for the reduction of the effects of climate change and the economic and social development of the countries and the people living in the sub-region. Well, the executive director of the Brazzaville Foundation for Peace and Conservation, David Richmond, now joins us and to talk to us about this critical subject. Well, thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning. Well, you're also taking part in the COP22, and you've just announced the creation of the Blue Fund for the Congo Basin. What is it all about?
Well, the Blue Fund is designed to help fund a shift in the economies of the countries of the Congo Basin away from the exploitation of forest resources and towards using the renewable resources of the waters of the Congo and its tributaries as a basis for a new, what the Economic Commission for Africa calls a new blue economy. And with that, you can do a number of different things. There is river transport and navigation. There is hydroelectricity, especially hydroelectric projects. There is fishing. There is irrigation. There is water management and water resources. There is ecotourism, a range of different sectors which rely on the waters of the Congo, and you have there a renewable resource, unlike the forest resources.
Well, Mr. Richmond, another question. How is this fund going to work?
Well, there's still a lot of work. At the moment, it's a concept, it's an idea, and there'll have to be a lot of work over the next year to turn it into a reality, into a effective financial institution. But the idea is that the fund will either fund directly or possibly subsidize projects in the sectors I've just mentioned. Well, what we have suggested is that it should be a fund of $100 million, but renewable on a regular basis. So that's a fairly sizable sum of money. No, I was just going to say, but all this will have to be all this is going to have to be the subject of negotiation in the coming months.
Well, a last question, Mr. Richmond. We've seen that a number of African countries are involved in this project. Can we say it's an important step in the sense that the continent is more and more conscious of the fact that the solutions to reduce the impact of climatic change should also be thought from inside?
Yes, I think there's two aspects to this. One, I think, yes, it's absolutely right that African countries should be taking the initiative, and this is very much a project which is an African initiative, and I think that's an excellent thing. But also, I think we need to remember that the international community at Paris pledged some very, very large sums of money for climate mitigation and climate adaptation, and very little of that money so far has come the way of Africa. And we think that a project, an initiative like the Congo Basin Blue Fund will help ensure that more of that money comes to Africa than has been the case so far.
And Mr. Richmond, the very last question now. What lessons can we learn from this summit?
Well, it's one of the things that I have discovered after spending 2 weeks at the conference is just how enormous a conference it is. Some people say 20,000, some people say 40,000 people here. It is huge, and it is impossible to have an overview of the entire conference. But we are very pleased with the reception that the Congo Basin Blue Fund initiative has received, and it is one of the initiatives which the Africa Summit, the Africa Action Summit, which met yesterday here in Marrakech, decided to make a priority initiative for the African continent. So we're very, very pleased about that.